and gentlemen, let's get ready here.
He's taken another one and another, and Howard Foster has stopped it. Wow, that is going to be controversial.
That's a crunching right hand, and that must finish it. It must finish it.
Taylor trying to catch himself, using his jab, eats a right hand, another right hand, and he goes down. Oh my goodness!
The dream is made real. Ricky Hatton rocks the world with a truly stunning win over a modern legend. He is the champion of the world.
Yes. Welcome back to another week's edition of Raps on TV. We've had a great weekend of boxing. Daniel Dubois bursting and pounding Tom Not So Little. We had Ohara Davies coming back from under the bus and putting a great performance in and knocking out Kamanga. And also we had the Josh Taylor fight with some controversial scorecards at the end. I'm here with my colleague Tom, who's going to tell us about the guests on our show tonight and what else to expect.
Great to be back, Anam. Thanks for having me in again. Got a stat show tonight. Got 2 star signings from the MTK Global stable. Been phenomenal rise of MTK recently. The management company's gone through the roof. Been signing some top talents all across the country. Obviously, they've branched out. They've got MTK London, MTK Scotland, MTK Northern Ireland, and 2 of tonight's guests. We've got 2 unbeaten super lightweight prospects in Jack Catterall 21-0 and Tyrone McKenna 16-0, facing off against each other this weekend on the Michael Conlan homecoming card. So I'm really looking forward to having these guys in, telling us about their training camp preparations. Obviously, this fight was on 4 weeks' notice with a pullout of Phil Sutcliffe Jr., who was meant to fight Tyrone McKenna originally on this card. But Jack Catterall, credit to him, always steps up in big fights and is willing to put it all on the line to put himself into a position to fight for a version of the world title. So back to you, Anam.
Yeah, so let's start off with Taylor Postol, which was a great fight. It was a WBC eliminator. I think Jose Ramirez is the champion, the WBC champion.
Yeah.
For me, it turned out what it was an up-and-coming, solid top prospect against, in my opinion, still a serious contender, an ex-champion, 140-pound division champion, and one of the top champions, someone that a lot of people say Danny Garcia avoided and left 140-pound division for. And it proved to be a phenomenal fight right from the start. I was listening to Bunce on his Radio Fight podcast today, and in his opinion and in the opinion of his co-commentator, they said, and general consent was a lot of the majority of the rounds, the first 5 probably went to Postol, right? And it was a closely fought fight, Yeah. And from the second half of the fight, I think Taylor done phenomenally well. The way he came back strong, a lot of strong body shots, and eventually it put down Postol in the 10th round, which really turned the fight around, in my opinion.
Most
and that,
definitely.
That is what won the fight for me. Then we got the scorecards, which I thought was just, it's a real stain on boxing. It was so unnecessary. It's just, how can you say that does not reflect the fight at all? The scorecards from all 3 judges reflect a situation whereby it was a dominant performance from Taylor, and it clearly wasn't the case. And that's my assessment, Tom.
I think it's definitely a shame. Sort of, it seemed to me anyway that the scorecard sort of overrode the the fight itself. Post obviously coming over to Scotland, challenging an unbeaten prospect in Josh Taylor. It's been a phenomenal rise through the professional ranks for Josh Taylor. He's come this has probably been his biggest step up. Fighting someone who's only lost once, and that was to Terence Crawford, who's gone on to unify the 140-pound division and move up to welterweight to win a world title in that division. So, credit to both fighters for the performances. And I think, it was a close fight. Probably had it edging towards Taylor, maybe 2 or 3 rounds. But nonetheless, Postol gave a great account of himself. And I just think sometimes these kind of scorecards, how wide they are, it kind of, taints the reputation of the sport slightly. And it kind of takes away, judges are there to, make their decision. We can't put the authority in the hands of the judges. And just nonetheless, it was a great fight and a great spectacle.
I mean, the 140-pound division in the UK is absolutely buzzing at the moment. We've got Jack Catterall calling in later on, so we're going to pick it up with him as well. We've got Tyrone McKenna.
Yep.
We had Ohara Davies come back as well with a great fight, and Josh Taylor, what he done as well. We've got Terry Flanagan. How do you describe the 140-pound scene in the UK? Why have we got so many top fighters, and how many of them can go on to become world champions?
It's really exciting at the moment, and to be honest, you've got obviously all these quality domestic fighters, contenders, and then obviously we've had the announcement of the World Boxing Super Series super lightweight tournament for season 2, and just to look at the scope of talent in the 140-pound division, is to see some of these fighters are going to get their opportunity to fight on such a big stage. And like I mentioned in the intro, how Catterall's taken this fight on 4 weeks' notice against a quality operating Tyrone McKenna, not being beaten, tall, rangy, slick. He's got the attributes for both fighters coming into this fight. It makes for a great fight, and I just think the winner will have their sights on these massive fights without overlooking their opponent. But it's just a massive time for the 140-pound division domestically.
Yeah. Let's talk about Ohara Davies as well. I can see we've got quite a few callers on the line, and we've got Jack Catterall coming on some 750. So let's just we've got to flick through these topics quickly, get some callers on as well.
Yeah.
Ohara Davies, what do you make of his performance?
Yeah, great performance. I think to get Kamanga out there inside 2 rounds just sent out a strong statement to the rest of particularly the Frank Warren stable. You've got obviously Jack Catterall. Amongst the Jamie Moore camp, obviously Jamie Moore having fighters, Carl Frampton having obviously Martin Murray, and the relationship they've made in the past few months. And I just think obviously with Terry Flanagan suffering his defeat to Maurice Hooker, the 140-pound division needs to be aware of Ohara Davies's ability, not put aside all the nonsense and the trash talking to sell himself for massive fights, but just the talent he has and the dangerous power he carries as well. I think he's a massive threat to the division.
We had Yarde on the card as well. Anthony Yarde, the beast from the East, won in very, very good fashion. He's had 2 opportunities to fight for a world title now, and his team and himself is reiterating along with Frank Warren that they want to take their time, they want to develop the experience, they want to learn their craft before they get onto that level.
Yeah.
Do you agree with the strategy and what they're implementing?
To be honest, I understand where Tunde Ajayi is coming from. Obviously, it's making calculated steps towards getting a shot at the world title. Having a shot against someone like Sergey Kovalev this early on in his career, he's only before Saturday night's fight against Darius Sek, he only had about 15 fights, and I just think without having that amateur pedigree behind him, coming up the traditional sort of GB route, he needs to learn his apprenticeship. He needs to learn on the job, and I think having these step ups in a calculated fashion, I think it's definitely going to stand him good stead in the future. These fights will be inevitable once he starts to progress through his career, and I think it shows the accolade that he has at the moment. Obviously, putting in great performances and being deserved of a high WBO ranking and getting these shots at the current world champions.
How do you compare him to the other light heavyweights in the UK, the likes of Boatsi? We've got Callum Johnson, Jose Burton, Buglioni even. Do you not think he should be fighting someone of that ilk now at this stage? I know Callum Johnson's got a world title shot with Beterbiev, but at this stage, surely he should be testing himself with the top domestic level opposition, to see where he stands at this stage now. Do you not think?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think from a fan's perspective as well, we want to see these fights.
But it's not just from a fan's perspective. I think a lot of fans are questioning that now. Look at Callum Johnson, right? He's been given the opportunity to fight Beterbiev.
Yeah. But
I get he's 32 years old, and he's taken his opportunity. He's taken it, right? Yeah, I get Yarde's arguments as well, but then with Yarde, they were making it as the greatest light heavyweight since Ali fought in the Olympics as a light heavyweight. So given that you've had 2 opportunities, you've not taken them now, but at this stage now in his career, he should be fighting the top domestic opponents. Yeah, do you not agree?
No, yeah, definitely. And I think with obviously Joshua Boatsi, the progress he's made in his career so far, carrying on the pedigree he's had from the GB setup and getting a fight with Ricky Summers this early on in his career, I think it's testament to the matchmaking from Matchroom Boxing, and potentially that kind of discredits Frank Warren, the way he's kind of pushing Anthony Yarde along. Obviously, he has to, take on the advice of Tanya Jai, his manager. But these are the fights where it's going to really stand him in good stead, having that experience, cleaning up the domestic scene, and then pushing on to a European/fringe world level shot. So
I can see the lines are buzzing today. We've got 10 minutes before Jack Catterall comes on. I think let's just get a couple of callers through. If we put through 488. Hello, 488.
How's it going? It's Dave from the Boxing Voice.
Dave, how you doing, mate?
Dave?
How's it going?
Yeah, good. Long time, guys.
Yeah,
just been busy.
Yeah.
I think a fair assessment of Ohara Davies. For me, I think he one of the star performances of the night. To be fair, the way he just disposed of Kamega, sent him nearly 360 spinning. What a KO! Absolutely fantastic. It's just unfortunate, isn't it, that his mouth gets into a lot of trouble. As opposed to, and people don't look at his boxing ability and his brain that he's got. I think Dubois, another, he did what he was supposed to do in there. A good test somewhere down the line would be him versus Joyce. I think that would be great. Both Joyce and Dubois, similar sort of level. We've got a lot of great fights coming up, but and a lot of good talent. And with Anthony Yarde, you guys are right. I think it's now time to test maybe at domestic level, just to see who the best light heavyweight is in the country, and then maybe get ready for that world title shot. I don't think he's quite ready for.
100%. I think criticism is slowly starting to build up with the fan base. You can see the social media trends. A lot of people are starting questioning now. You're starting getting memes with him all wrapped up in wool and stuff like that. You can't be fighting another low-level, opponent at this stage now. He needs to fight. They've got to be making a fight like the Jose Burton at the moment. They've got to be fighting that kind of top-level, British title-level domestic opposition at this stage now, and then start moving.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think the obstacle comes with the TV promotional companies. I think that's where the obstacles come. He's probably ready to fight these guys. They're probably ready to fight him. But when it comes to, Matchroom and Queensbury and shaking hands, we all know that, deals like that, they happen very rarely. I mean, look at Mayweather versus Pacquiao. Look how long that was in the making. And that's a massive event. So, it's just about shaking hands and making sure the promotional companies and everything like that is all sorted. And I think that's what's blocking this happening.
Dave, mate, thank you very much for calling in. We've got quite a few callers on the line today. We've got a couple of guests coming in 10 minutes. So, mate, thank you very much for your call and I appreciate it, mate.
No problem.
Thanks very much, Dave. Take care, mate.
You too, mate. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
We've got 251. Hello, 251.
How you doing, How you doing, Tom?
How you doing?
Yeah, good. Who's this?
It's D from Below the Belt.
Hey, D, how you doing?
D, how you doing, mate?
Long time.
Not too bad. Yeah, not too bad, man. That's a catch up, man. Catch up.
So, what do you want to talk about, mate?
I think, in all honesty, the only important thing in world boxing news right now is this AJ and Wilder fight seems like it's falling through.
Yeah, sum me up for us.
Terrible.
Sum me up. It's incredibly disappointing, Sum me up for us, D.
Terribly. I think this whole WBA mandatory thing is ridiculous, to be honest. I mean, come on. With all due respect, they could quite easily tell the WBA, listen, we're fighting Wilder, and it's a unification. Well, undisputed.
Yeah.
I'm very sure that they're not going to strip him. If it was the IBF, I think, the IBF, they're quite strict. But the WBA, they're not going to strip a super champion and miss out on all that money that they'll make off the fight to hand the belt over to Povetkin, who's going to want to fight in Russia, and no one's going to want to go over there and fight him. But I just think it's ridiculous. I'm not hearing... I think anybody that's really knee-deep in the boxing game will know that unifications... they trump mandatories all day long. Yeah. So I'm not buying none of this talk about they have to fight Povetkin. I'm not hearing none of it. I think it's actually an insult to boxing fans and it's disgraceful.
Well,
the casual fans that don't know much buy into this garbage.
Yeah. I would have to agree with you there, D. It is. I mean, I feel it's a complete insult to the, especially long-term fans, where where people have supported AJ and Matchroom from day one, and this is the fight that fans really wanted to see. No one wants to see Povetkin AJ, and we know what's going to happen with that. It's going to be blasting. Yeah, he's going to get blasted every 5 or 6 rounds. And it's disappointment. Exactly. And when you always get these fans that still supporting Hearn on this, and I just don't understand. It's like, do you want to see the fight or not? Why are you supporting this? It's complete bullshit. This whole kind of the WAF. So you've got to get the Povetkin fight maybe in the next couple of days. So exactly, completely agree with you, D.
Yeah, it's terrible, and that's the thing, as you know, AJ is not only is he like one of the biggest stars in world boxing, but he's a super champion. They are not going to strip a WBA super champion to fight Povetkin. It's not going to happen.
And D, when do you realistically? D, when do you realistically want to see this Joshua Wilder fight? I know, like the fan base, we all get bogged down in when we really want to see this fight happen. But realistically, from your standpoint, when do you think this fight will take place?
I think it will take place next year, early summer. From what I'm seeing, and there's some interviews. If you really go back, it seemed like that was always going to be the position. I saw an interview from Barry Hearn a while ago, and he was even saying that should happen next year. Yeah. So everything that I hear in between that means nothing. Like there was no real intention of that fight happening. This year. Yeah,
the worst thing is the contract that was sent. Shelley Finkel, he maintained his integrity. He didn't release any of the data. But after this news came out, some of this news came out, there was no location, there was no venue, there was no date specified, there was no rematch clause. And the worst thing is, right, Wilder took a fixed £15 million fee when we know this, this person is going to be about 60, 70 million. It's astonishing, mate. Anyway, D, listen, mate, thank you very much for your call. Listen, we've got Jack Catterall coming on in about 3 or 4 minutes, so do stay on the line.
Cheers for the support, D. All the best, mate.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Well done, man. Take care.
Cheers. So we've got 561. Hello, is it?
Yes. What's going on, guys?
What is that, Mr. Kojo? What's going on?
Kojo, mate.
How you doing,
Coach?
What's going on? I'm up to my armpits in nappies.
No, we know. So Kojo, my co-host here, has been knocked out since the he's been knocked down in 10 by the birth of his new baby Afia. How you doing?
I'm telling you, not bad. Just listening in. Thought you guys were making some really great points on the Taylor Postol thing. I think it's quite interesting. Even Taylor himself has come out and said that the scorecards were terrible. So it's quite refreshing and quite rare that a boxer so it talks about that. I guess the only thing I really wanted to talk about in terms of fights was from last weekend. Ohara Davies. I thought it was an interesting sort of performance from him, to be honest with you, because it was a devastating KO. I didn't really think he had that in him. It's been a while since I guess we've seen him knock guys out. He usually tries that, slick approach, and wait his turn in terms of just throwing out the jab. But it's good to see him throwing some bombs. And I really thought it was going to be a tough fight just from the press conference. Flamengo seemed like he was really focused. He seemed like, he talked a decent game. But yeah, nonetheless, he did nothing. Just to kind of follow on with what Dee was saying, I think this whole Wilder Joshua thing, is boring. I think the key thing now is that, people just have to realise when Hearn's saying stuff, you really got to take it with a pinch of salt, because at the end of the day, the same things he was accusing the Finkels and the Wilders of the world, he's gone around and done with the contract. And the timeline of this thing really kind of tells us that Povetkin was always the option. Interestingly enough, I want to know whether it goes to purse bid, or do they have to cave into Povetkin's requirements, because we know that he won't be able to beat Povetkin's team in a purse bid. So will they give him maybe 50%, 40% of total split? So looking forward to that. But hearing Wilder Joshua next year. So.
I'm refer back to a tweet that I saw from Povetkin's manager months ago, right? And he wanted to fight in Russia, a bit like when they fought Deontay Wilder, and they won the purse bid with a massive bid of £5 million, right? They completely outblew the bid from Heyman. So I think that's, he's already said he wants to fight in Russia, and so the negotiations are going to be tough, mate. They're going to go for a strong, cut from the purse. And if they don't get it, they're going to force in the purse bids. I think that's what's going to happen. So
Coach, just following on from what you said there about the problems that has been made between the two sides. I was just watching a interview with Michelle Joy Phelps that she did with Deontay Wilder in the States, and he was saying that somewhat that Hearn's actually brainwashing Joshua, the fact that they're filling him with so much information that he wants to fight, but they're sort of sidetracking him away from all the different logistics that go with this being a massive fight. Do you agree with that?
Brainwash, I don't agree with the term brainwash. What I would say is that I think they are advising him with more caution than they would do any of the previous opponents. I don't think Joshua's scared. I don't think Wilder's scared. I think it's the businessmen that kind of holding this up, and the businessmen that Eddie Hearn and his father are, they see that they can earn a bit of money before getting to fight Wilder, because it is a risk. I know a lot of people won't want to admit it, but it is a risk. So I think, you look at him fighting Povetkin next, which will be announced. Then he probably fights White at the end of this year. That's something he can easily get himself in shape for, should Dillian White beat Parker. That's them increasing their bankroll. And then you have Joshua, who's a bit more learned and there's a bit more experience with using the jab, and then can go and beat Wilder. So I think, look, at the end of the day, they have a game plan. I can't fault them for it. I guess for me, it's just Hearn just too slimy. But yeah, I don't think he's brainwashed at all. I think they bought into the vision.
Cool.
Yeah. So
sorry for rambling, but yeah, I think. Yeah.
So, Coach, we've got a guest on the line, Jack Catterall. So, mate, listen, thank you for dialing in.
No problem, guys.
Stay on the line, mate.
Cheers, Coach.
No problem.
Cheers, bye.
Thanks, guys.
So we've got our first guest of the evening, Jack Catterall, 21-0, expert sparring partner of Floyd Mayweather for the Manny Pacquiao fight. Jack, just want to say a big thank you for coming on the show.
Hello, how are you doing? Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolute pleasure, mate.
Hey then, Jack, it's Tom here. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. We're just talking through, the credit that you should be given for taking this fight on such short notice, and I just think it's a testament to your character and wanting to put it all on the line this Saturday night.
Yeah, definitely. The fight got proposed pretty much straight after the last fight, and obviously I didn't get the fight I wanted last time, so kind of expecting the call. Again, it's a great fight, so it made sense for me. Was in good shape. It was a perfect timescale, really, so jumped at the opportunity.
Yeah, and just pushing it back to your ninth professional fight, you obviously boxed for the Southern Area title, won that in good fashion against Nathan Bruh. Could you talk to us
Central
about...
Area.
Central Area, sorry, my bad.
Yeah, Central Area.
Yeah, so could you just talk through us your progress since then and the progress you've made to get to the point you are today?
Yeah, it's been a joyful ride. I think, like many people say, boxing is a marathon, not a sprint. I won the Central Area title against Nathan Bruff, and I think I was in a similar position back then. I got offered the Stalker fight with four and a half weeks notice after the Bruff win. Again, took the opportunity, come through that, and then had a mix of good fights after that. I've boxed a few different international opponents, and then the back end of last year, obviously picked up the British title, and I'm where I am today now. Looking forward to Saturday, getting over to Belfast and putting a good fight on for everybody.
So, Jack, the first time I saw you was probably about 3 or 4 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago, on Box Nation, right? And I think you just came back from Mayweather's gym, and you were been interviewed by Steve Bunce, right? So I thought, let me research into that, because I don't think a lot of people know that about you, right? And I'm going back quite a while back. You came on Box Nation, yeah. And so I looked at that again a couple of days ago, and are we right in saying you were his sparring partner for the Pacquiao fight?
Yeah, I'd done some rounds with him. Went over there. Was out there for quite a few weeks. It was really good.
I mean, that must have been a phenomenal experience. How did you get involved in that, and how did you get sparring with Floyd Mayweather, and why is it more people don't know that about you?
Yeah, at the time it was my manager at the time knew somebody who knew somebody in the gym. He said, "Listen, you get a flight over there. You're not necessarily going to get to spar." So we took the chance, went over. And there was a number of sparring partners, probably 10, 12 sparring partners. So I geared up, and I think it was the second week I was there. He said, yep, called him up, so got the rounds in, and for the couple of weeks after that, I managed to get a couple of rounds a week with him. He was sparring a lot of different sparring partners, but for me it was massive. It was a whole lot of learning. I was only, I must have been like 20, 21 at the time, so quite overwhelming in the gym. There was a couple hundred people in the gym, and everybody ranting and raving. So, but no, I cherished the opportunity, and on the back of that, I got the call to go over to San Diego to spar Canelo Alvarez for the James Kirkland fight.
Oh, really? So, wow.
We bought a flight. Yeah, it was amazing.
Did you ever get involved? You know, he's got that thing, the dog box. What does he call it? You know, where they just spar.
The doghouse.
The doghouse. Yeah. Did you ever get involved in the doghouse?
Yeah, when Floyd's sparring, it was kind of like, he is the dog, so it was like we was in the ring, and then there was no bell. It was like time. If he was doing well, it felt like the rounds were getting cut short. But if he was on top, I think one of the rounds that I did was just 7 minutes.
Wow. 7-minute round, yeah. And is that like relentless, or is it paced?
Oh, it's all paced. It's nothing too crazy, but I think that's the dog he is. He's got a coach in the ring, but if he's feeling good, he's on top. He wants that round to carry on. But if you catch him with a few punches and it's been a couple of minutes, he'll have his little break.
Yeah, I mean, what an amazing experience. Sharing a ring with Floyd Mayweather. Just imagine that, you know.
And Jack, what was...
the scrapbook.
Yeah, 100%.
And Jack, just following on from, obviously, the experience you've had at such a reputable gym, in the Mayweather gym, what was the experience like in terms of being face-to-face with Floyd Mayweather? Like, what was his character like, and what was it like being around such prestigious names in and out of the gym?
Yeah, it was quite mad, really. Obviously, I don't know if you've been to the gym, but in the gym, there's that many people there. I kind of mind my own business. I'm like that anyway, so
yeah.
You didn't really get to have a chance to have a conversation or nothing with him. You was literally in the gym. You do your warm-up, and then you line up, and then you might get picked, you might not get picked. You'll finish off your workout, you'll do your sparring, and once he'd finished, he'd wrap it up, do his training, and fire off. There were no... It was just literally sparring. You didn't get to chat to him or nothing. On the flip side of that, when I went to San Diego to spar Alvarez, that was brilliant. He put us up for 2 weeks up at one of his houses where the gym is.
Yeah.
After the gym, he'd cook some food. Obviously, I don't speak Spanish, but yeah, that was quite nice. He'd spend a little time with you.
You know, we always see fighters going over to Vegas, Jack, you know, all the time. Do fighters ever get a chance to enjoy Vegas, or is it quite a Spartan regime? You're there, you're sort of like sparring, you're training, you're watching your diet, going back home, sleeping, resting, eating at the right time, going back to the gym. Is it a bit like that, or do you ever get a chance to really go out and enjoy yourself in Vegas?
I think more than anything, it's just about being in a different environment. You can obviously, I'm comfortable training at home, but a lot of fighters, I guess, need to travel about and be away from home to be sacrificed and be disciplined. But again, when I was out there, I was in training camp for a fight. So for me, it was literally gym, eat, sleep, and then at the weekends, it was nice to be in a different city, different country, and be able to go and have a walk and see new things. But apart from that, it was just work.
And Jack, I mean, like listening to what everyone said about you in terms of sparring partners, and you know, they've always said that you've got world-class attributes, and obviously having shared the ring with Mayweather and Canelo Alvarez, how much has this brought you on in your professional career? And you know, that experience, the tips and advice they gave you in between spars, and yeah, how has that sort of elevated you in your career so far?
Yeah, it's brilliant. It brings you on loads. More than anything, I think it's a confident booster. Like I've sparred a lot of world champions over here. I've sparred Kell Brook and Amir Khan. In America, I've sparred them. So I think once you've been in them situations, it helps you grow as a fighter.
Yeah.
So then, when you're back in your gyms over at home, although you want to always do good and be good, you've felt the pressure at the maximum. So it's kind of like it brings it down a little bit, and you can really focus and get to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us about, you know, the mentality, you know, and the atmosphere in the gym, and you know, sparring and being in the same camp as people like Carl Frampton and Martin Murray, and having someone like Jamie Moore training you. What's the general mood like in the gym? Is it always quite positive? Is it like, the fighters pushing each other all the time to get to the top?
Yeah, it's been brilliant last couple of months since I've been there. Everybody's really positive, but obviously people on the outside might see the social media and there's always a laugh and a joke going on, but aside from that, hard work does get done. And for me, it's brilliant. Being at the side of them type of fighters, I'm always asking them questions, learning new things, and there's a lot of good fighters in the gym, and we're all rubbing shoulders, watching each other, helping each other, so real positive attitude.
Yeah. And Jack, just moving on now to see fight week this week. You're coming up against another unbeaten fighter in your division, Tyrone McKenna. What's preparations like been for the fight? And obviously you've been out in Spain with the Jamie Moore stable, obviously surrounded by two-weight world champion Cole Frampton. Obviously Martin Murray had his fight on the weekend. What's preparations been like for the fight this weekend?
Yeah, they've been really good. I had the fight May 19th. Before that, I boxed March 31st. So, been in the gym a while, been looking after my body. Yeah, it's been really straightforward. Just been listening to what I'm told, learning new things, training hard, living right. Everything's fallen together for perfect time for this fight. I know it seemed like obviously Tyrone was scheduled to fight Phil Sutcliffe, and that fell through, unfortunately. But fortunately enough for me, I got the call. I was in a good place at the time, and I think it was good really, because if the fight was any further away, I've been in the gym a long time, but it was kind of like boom, 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 and I'm just excited to get over to Belfast tomorrow and look forward to the fight on Saturday.
Yeah, and you just mentioned that obviously Phil Sutcliffe Jr. was scheduled to fight Tyrone McKenna on the original card. What's like, obviously taking this fight on 4 weeks' notice, what gives you the confidence that you can get the job done this weekend? Obviously, Tyrone McKenna is going to have to, sort of change his changed his preparation slightly, obviously for a new style. So like, what gives you the confidence that you get the victory on Saturday night?
Yeah, I'm filled with confidence. A lot of people say, obviously, I got the call at 4 weeks' notice, but I was in the gym, I've been training, I've been ready, I was in shape, so for me it wasn't really a late call. If it was a fight, that was just a bit sooner than normal time scales you get given for a fight. But like I said, I've spoken to Tyrone in the past. There's a lot of respect there for Tyrone, but at the same time I believe I'm a better fighter. I believe I've got the attributes to beat him, whether he wants to box, whether he wants to fight. So like, more than anything, I just want to get over there now and really put on a performance.
How do you think the fight's going to go, Jack? How's it going to go? How's Tyrone going to fight you?
There's many different ways. If he could come on the back foot, on his jab, moving around the ring. I know I've watched him fight where he likes to come forward and have a tear up. So, I mean, that's what Tyrone wants to do, but I'm not focused on what Tyrone wants to do. I'm focused on me, and I know what I need to do when I get in the ring, and that's what I'm doing.
So you're both fighting on Michael Conlan's homecoming. It's going to be a big boost within the Irish community. Everyone's going to be buzzing for it. Tyrone is obviously Irish as well.
Buzzing for it.
Yeah. Does that affect you in any way? Or you just mentioned that you're buzzing for it. Are you excited going away to fight?
Yeah, I know that the Irish people love the boxing. Again, loads of people over here love the boxing, and I think it's appreciated, a good fight like this. I mean, like, normally, replacement fights, if I'd not accepted the fight, who knows who Tyrone would have boxed. So, hopefully, everybody can support the fight. Got quite a few people coming over supporting me, but more than anything, I think, like, the reaction from social media and speaking to people, it's had a brilliant reaction. So, I mean, I know Tyrone's been training hard. I see it on the social media. Likewise, I've been training hard. So, hopefully for the people turning out, it's a brilliant show. Loads of good fights on. So, yeah, it'd be good.
And just looking at this fight strategically, Jack, obviously Tyrone's got quite, he's got quite long arms, long reach, awkward style, slick. How are you going to negate his long reach to make sure that your strengths pay off on the night?
I'm not giving it away. He could be listening in. You'll have to wait till Saturday and see.
You're right there, Jack. Mr. McKenna has just joined the caller's line. I can see him. So yeah, you don't want to give away too many secrets. Yeah. So Jack,
I'm not telling him the secrets.
Yeah. So Jack, the £140 division is buzzing in the UK. You got everyone's talking about you or Tyrone, whoever wins fighting Ohara Davies. Is that something you'll be looking at? Is that definite? Is that someone you'll be targeting next if you win this fight?
There's been a lot of talk, more so from everyone else than me, about the Ohara Davies fight. But like I said to and people that know me know, I've not showed any disrespect like that. I've got a fight on Saturday, and that's all I'm thinking about right now. Another fight's been proposed for the future.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? But right now I'm not focused on winning the fight on Saturday.
Yeah.
And then I'll be open to whatever fights after that. I've never turned down a fight. I've never been shy. Again, I've got a fight. I'm not looking further than Saturday night.
Sure, no problem.
And Jack, just to finish off, obviously we saw a few weeks back Terry Flanagan lose his WBO title to Maurice Hooker, so coming over from the States. There's a lot of speculation that could have been a potential fight, albeit you come through Saturday night. Is the Maurice Hooker fight something you're going to look to target? Obviously, without overlooking Tyrone McKenna this weekend, but is that something you'll seek to get by the end of the year?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's got a world title, so that's where we all want to get to. I'm ranked high in the WBO. He's got the WBO world title, and from what I see, I see him beat Terry, but I didn't see nothing special in him. So
yeah,
I think I would be confident in that fight. Definitely, again, going back to saying, listen, I've got a fight on Saturday first, but 100% I'd love to fight Maurice Hooker.
So, Jack, just want to say good luck for this upcoming weekend. I'm going to probably say the same thing to Tyrone as well. Just want to say thank you so much for giving us the time of day, to come onto our show. Really, really appreciate it, mate.
Yeah, it's great to have you on the show, Jack, and wish you all the best for Saturday night and the rest of the fight week. Hope it all goes well for you.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much, Jack.
Oh, nice one. Thank you very much.
Cheers, mate. Pleasure to have you on. Take care, mate. Thanks.
Bye. Bye.
So, guys, we've got Tyrone McKenna, 16-0, due to fight previous guest Jack Catterall on this Saturday on Michael Conlan's homecoming. Tyrone, thank you very much for coming to the show.
Right, no problem. Good to be here.
How's it going, Tyrone? It's Tom here, co-host to Anam. How's it going?
All good. Just I've run a few tickets, so nothing special.
So Jack, so Tyrone, I've been reading up at your background. You come from a background where a lot of people are involved in boxing. A lot of people from your area get into boxing. How does that background help you in this? Since boxing is obviously a very, very tough sport. There's a lot of discipline required. You can't eat what you want to eat. It's like a Spartan lifestyle. You wake up in the morning and go running when everybody's sleeping. How does your background help you? Being with the likes of Paddy Barnes and etc. And how does that help you in this fight?
Paddy Barnes ruins it. He ruins it.
Does it? Why does he ruin it?
Nah, you're with me. It's great being with just being around them kind of professionals and people's been to the Olympics and stuff. Michael Conlan and Paddy Barnes and even Carl Frampton and stuff. Just to see the way they train, how professional they are to it, and taking all the positives and their training stuff, implementing it into my training, my day-to-day life. So yeah, it's perfect, and you learn a lot from them.
So Tyrone, I voted for you to have James Brown as your ring walk. Has the results of that come through? And have you selected your ring walk music? What is it?
We added up all Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and number one won it, Nina Simone. So
Nina Simone.
Not your choice. Nina Simone's good on it. Yeah. You don't like it?
I think James Brown was better, mate. I think James Brown was better.
Yeah, I'd say James Brown.
I like all three.
So
maybe James Brown the next time.
Yeah.
So Tyrone, just obviously going back to so you've been signed with MTK, obviously a massive degree of talent that's come through the system there. Obviously growing as a management company, it's gone through the roof in recent months. What's it like being signed with MTK, and does it give you does it encourage you that these fights domestically with other MTK fighters, got the likes of Ohara Davies, does it kind of spur you on that you can get these big fights?
Sorry, breaking up there.
Can
But yeah, 100%. So my last 5 fights have been against MTK fighters, so it's something I'm used to. And obviously, Jack Catterall is MTK, and Ohara Davies is MTK. So basically, MTK is taken over boxing. That certainly took over my weight. Most light welters are same MTK, all the big names. So it's good to be in an Imagine company all under the same roof. So it makes these kind of big fights easy to make. Normally you'd have clashes with two managers trying to outbid each other and outprice each other, but that's not the case here. All the big fighters are with the same management company, and it makes things easy. Makes signing contracts easy.
Yeah, and there's obviously a lot of sacrifice and commitment that goes into camp. So it's quite a draining process having to make the weight. Obviously, you're quite naturally tall and massive for the weight. And in terms of living with Paddy Barnes, what has the mood been like in the house? Obviously, since Paddy's been, he's got his world title shot against Rosales on the August cards.
There's a big buzz in the gym now. I mean, he's what we knew for a while that the world title was coming.
Yeah.
So there's been a buzz about the gym. We've been training very, very hard and bouncing off each other. I've got a new fighter on board as well. That's Sean McComb. He's fighting on Saturday. He's a massive talent from the amateurs. So we all know each other from growing up. It's like a wee family over there. We're all mates. We've all been mates for years, all throughout the amateur days and stuff. So it's great to be, instead of just being alone. Boxing's a lonely sport anyway, but to have friends to train with each day and the bounce off of each other.
Yeah, of course.
It's great, and it's great buzz in the gym. Yeah. It makes everything a lot easier.
Tyrone, imagine Jack Catterall was listening to this interview right now, and you could send him a message. What would you say? What would you say to him?
Does not underestimate me.
What would you say?
Do not underestimate me.
Do not underestimate.
I think he's underestimated.
Jack, if you ever listen to the show tomorrow, do not underestimate Tyrone. Okay.
Tell your bag up for this fight, Tyrone.
Yeah, so, we saw an interview that, someone done, or an article that was written on Boxing News 24, where you've said, you never would want to put Carl Frampton in a position, where he basically gives you an insight, about anything about Jack Catterall, because he gives you an unfair, advantage. So it's like it really shows what your integrity is about. A lot of fight, a lot of that, fight game happens. They have spies in the camp sector and stuff like that.
No.
In terms of your executing the game plan, what is your game plan? How do you plan on beating Jack Catterall on the night?
As Jack said earlier, I don't want to say too much. He might be listening in.
Yeah,
so,
he might be.
You know what? I'm just ready for anything. As I said before, if Jack wants a war, everyone knows I love a war. Yeah, if Jack wants to be tactical and be smart and try and have a boxing chess match, I'm ready for that. I've been all around the world in amateurs. I've fought all different types of fighters. Small, tall, heavy hitters, fast hand. I've fought them all. So my boxing IQ, my boxing brain, I believe is better than his. So if he wants to have a chess match, I'll have that. If he wants to have a war, I'll have that. I don't mind.
Yeah, so this weekend's going to be massive Irish boxing. Michael Conlan's coming home. It's a bit like all the English fans after 6-1 winning, drubbing of Panama. It's coming home. It's coming home. It's a bit like this. Michael Conlan's coming home. It's going to be a big party in Belfast. I think it's Odyssey Arena, isn't it? Odyssey Arena. I mean, how do you feel? You must be buzzing for that, mate.
Yeah, there's nothing better than fighting. Like, even the Carl Frampton shows, there's nothing like. The atmosphere in the SSE Arena is electric. It always is. When Belfast is a boxing city. We love boxing. We always come out and support in massive numbers, and McConnell's no exception. I mean, thousands travel to New York to watch him fight, and now he's finally coming home. The Belfast, the public is going crazy. The tickets are flying out for a show. The support's crazy for it. It's an unbelievable undercard anyway without McConnell, but with McConnell headlining the show, it's really brought a big buzz to the city this week.
Yeah. And Tyrone, what does it mean to you to be sharing the card with such a high profile, obviously Irish amateur in Mick Conlon. Obviously having Top Rank come over, given the city, the exposure. See, Belfast boxing's booming at the moment. We've got so many, world title fights coming up. Obviously, as I mentioned, Paddy Barnes. So yeah, do you feel there's a really good vibe in the city at the moment that boxing's coming back?
Yeah, 100%. Every 2 months there seems to be a big show in Belfast, and it's not just like your ordinary boxing show. It's a massive show. It's a card from world title fights, or it's Mick Conlon's homecoming, or it's Ryan Burnett having a world title fight, and now Paddy Barnes having a world title fight and stuff. So it's not your ordinary shows, but every couple of months there's a huge show in Belfast. Just be riding the wave and getting on them shows and fighting, even fighting the big names. It's just brilliant. Just getting the big names over the water to fight you. So it wouldn't be every day that Jack Catterall would come over and fight me on an ordinary Belfast show, but because it's a Mick Conlon massive show, it's the draw that brings the big names over. It's just bringing boxing massive in Belfast.
So, not to disrespect your opponent or anything like that, and not to foresee the outcome of this fight, but on the assumption you did win this fight, I mean, the 140-pound division in the UK, it's packed. It really is buzzing. You've got the likes of Flanagan, Ohara Davies. You've got Ricky Burns still in there.
Maurice Hooker. You got to see the announcement of the World Boxing Super Series today for season 2. So. Yeah. Is that your ambition to see, without overlooking Jack this weekend, is that your ambition to maybe get a spot in that World Boxing Super Series and target these massive fights?
Of course. Everyone wants to be in the World Series. I mean, the last one was unbelievable to watch. They just had the best fight and the best, and all the world titles were up for grabs. So I think that's what everyone in every division wants to be in, the World Series. The biggest fights, biggest pay. It's a lot of exposure. It's everything you want.
Yeah.
It's the ring train for. So, yeah, of course, it's a dream to fight in that. But it's not only just that. There's Ohara Davies, as you said, or there's Terry Flanagan, or there's Maurice Hooker. There's a lot of big fights out there, like a huge fight. I'd love to shut up that mouthpiece, Ohara Davies. That's
so you like
on the bucket list, so I'd like to get that.
You'd like to fight Ohara Davies next, is it?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been shouting his wee mouth off about Jack and about me, and it's been ongoing for the last year or two, so I'd like to finally get that on the way.
Yeah, we've got a bit of history with Ohara Davies, who's our very first live guest when he won this WBC silver belt or something at Wembley, and he was getting a lot of criticism at the time when he went 12 rounds. And it was our first ever guest. Yeah, I think the build up to that would be fantastic, Tyrone.
I think it makes for a great fight. That fight.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and mate, do you see
100%.
Did you see the Flanagan fight with Hooker? Did you watch that at all?
Do you know what? I don't know where I didn't. It was somewhere. I don't know where it was. Do you know where it was? At a wedding. So I couldn't even watch it.
Yeah.
And then he got beat, so I didn't even watch it. Nah.
Yeah. Fair enough. If you had, I would have asked you, what would you do differently? But I can't really ask you that anymore.
Yeah, nah. That was at a wedding, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, Tyrone, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show today. And honestly, wish you all the best for this weekend. And most importantly, just that you and Jack come out in good health and that everything goes smoothly on the night.
And same here,
100%.
Same here, Tyrone. You and Jack are both quality guys, man. I don't see either one of you lose. We wish the best of luck for both of you, and hopefully next time you play James Brown.
Will do.
All right,
top man, Tyrone. Cheers.
Take
all the
care,
best,
man.
mate. Thank you.
Bye.
Right, guys, that was our second guest, Tyrone McKenna. I can still see we've got lots of callers on the line, so I'm gonna put some more through. So we've got. I was gonna put through 287, but I know that's Tom's mum, and she does not want to.
Mum's showing love.
Mum is showing love. So go to 985. Hello. Sorry, is that 561? Hello. 985.
Hello there.
Hello.
Hello, how are we doing?
Daniel.
Is that Daniel?
How are we doing, fellas?
How's it going, Dan?
Dan, I need the update on Nigeria, Argentina. What's going on?
I'm not watching it, mate. I'm on
What?
the grindstone, mate. I ain't got a clue what's going on.
Oh, man, come on. Anyway, what's going on? What do you want to talk about?
I'm on the grindstone, just like you, mate. So I ain't got time at the moment to look at the scores, you know what I mean?
Yeah. What's going on? What do you want to talk about, mate? It's 1-1.
Mate.
It's 1-1. Argentina going out.
1-1, is it?
Yeah, the Argentina in my sweepstakes.
All right.
Yeah, anyway.
All right, well, anyway, come on, Nigeria, anyway.
Yeah.
Hopefully Nigeria can do it and go through.
Go through, mate, yeah. You know I'm 1% Nigerian, yeah, Dan? You know that, yeah?
Yeah, I know that, I know that.
We've done DNA test.
I'm only about 1/4% Nigerian, Dan. But...
All right, nice one, fellas.
Right, so what do we talk about, Dan?
Martin Murray.
Yeah, Martin Murray.
Well, Martin Murray, good win for him over on the weekend, didn't it?
Yeah, he was. Good weekend. Do you feel sorry for what happened with your Billy Joe Saunders is your favourite fighter? We all know this. Justify that. Justify what Billy Joe done.
I don't know about favourite fighter.
He's your favourite fighter, Dan.
I rate him.
You do.
Don't know about favourite, mate. But anyway, do you think this fight should happen between Murray and Saunders? I'm hearing something about Degale and Saunders. What do you reckon? You reckon that would happen, or would you like to see Degale and Saunders?
Yeah, I would. I mean, we've discussed this before in our show. I think that's a cracking fight. We discussed Degale fighting Chris Eubank Jr. We think that's also a cracking fight. And it looks like that's a very possible fight. I think Frank Warren still might have some kind of deal with James Degale. James Degale is definitely not with any other promoters as far as I'm aware. So that kind of Frank Warren's been talking about it. And to be honest, I think the honesty is, Billy Joe Saunders thought he was going to get a shot at Golovkin, and that's why I think the injury was just faked, right? So he's now hasn't had a fight in nearly a year, right? And he needs a fight, mate. So that makes complete sense. Tom?
Yeah, I agree. I think.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening.
Yeah. So we're just saying about we can hear you. Yeah. So we're just.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So we're just talking. So we're just talking about potential Degale Saunders, potential Degale Eubank. Are those fights you'd like to see, Dan?
I would like to see Billy Joe Saunders up against Degale. Yes, I would. Be an interesting fight that I think we'd win.
Yeah. Dan, listen, mate, we've got two callers on the line, and I'm going to put them through because we're going to close the show down in about 10 minutes, mate. Thank you so much again for calling in, mate. Really appreciate the support.
Anytime,
Thank you,
mate.
man. Thank you very much. You too. Cheers.
All right, bye-bye.
So I see we've got 860 on the line. I believe that's Paul.
860.
Hello, mate. You all right?
How's it going, Paul?
How you doing, Paul? How's it going?
Yeah, I'm good. Are you?
Yeah, good. What do you want to talk about?
It's boxing at the weekend, really. I was probably most impressed with Dubois.
Yeah.
Like, I know we've had people going in with him who he's just been knocking over and knocking out, but Tom Little's quite tough, and he presented him with different problems, and he just looked so composed, didn't rush anything, just picked his shots, looked for his shot, and then when the knockout come, it come. I just think if he progresses at that rate, then he's 20-year-old at the moment. By the time he's 25, 26, he could be the man in the division.
I think it's highly likely he's going to be one of the top contenders. And within not even 5-6 years, within 3 to 4 years, he's going to be like a serious player in the heavyweight division. What do you think about the whole Wilder, WBA, Joshua situation?
What's a bit of a piss take with that is that Hearn for months has tried to negate any positive talk about it. Like he's tried to bullshit his way into it. If he'd have just been up front and straight and said, "Listen, it's going to be Povetkin first, then we're going to go with Wilder," fair enough. Then the timeline of the fight set. But he hasn't done that. He's took the piss and tried to say he's making a Wilder fight, try to make them look like idiots, calling Shelley Finkel Shirley. He's just a bit of a knob, isn't he?
Yeah. And how frustrating has that process been for you, like from a fan's perspective, Paul? Obviously, realistically now, we're not going to see the Joshua Wilder fight probably happen, earliest maybe December, but not even till probably next year. How frustrating has that process been from a fan's perspective?
Very, because how often do you get a chance of all 4 heavyweight belts being on the line at once? By the time that comes round, they'll probably both had another fight each, which they could lose, because Povetkin's no pushover. You've seen him spark David Price out. He was just clean out on his feet. If he catches AJ with something like that, he could put him out as well.
I just can't see it, though. Mate,
obviously,
mate, did you watch the Klitschko fight with Povetkin?
Yeah, Klitschko manhandled him, but...
Exactly. He just manhandled and bullied him. He literally was like man against boy. That's what's going to happen here. He's going to apply the same tactics, isn't he? I mean, AJ is probably 5-6 inches bigger than him, taller than him. You're going to manhandle him, mate. You won't be able to come close. Comes close, he's just going to lean on him. That's it. That's all he's going to do. He's going to knock him out. I can't see it.
Yeah, I reckon that will happen, but it's another fight in the way, isn't it?
I just hope it goes to Perspiz. I hope it goes to Perspiz, and I hope the fight ends up in Russia, and I hope it goes on to points, because that would be very interesting.
And do you think, Paul, that obviously if the Povetkin fight does happen first, that there is an element of, Joshua overlooking Povetkin? Obviously he's demanding the Wilder fight. Hearn's been giving him sort of information probably that's kind of, sidetracked that fight from happening with all the shenanigans that's happened between the two camps. But do you think there's an element of overlooking Povetkin if this fight happens first?
Always, because if it's correct that what I saw on Twitter earlier, that the fight's already signed for next April, then he's already going to be thinking of Wilder. He's already going to be thinking that big fight, that's worth 60 million, 100 million, whatever it comes up to. He's already going to be looking ahead to that.
Yeah, cool. So what did you think about the weekend's fights, mate? Just round up the weekend's fights.
This weekend, probably what I'm most looking forward to is, obviously, you've seen the article I done on Taylor McGoldrick. I'm looking forward to watching him. He sounds like a big, heavy hitter. Yeah. But probably the one I'm most looking forward to is the Catterall McKenna one, because that's so evenly matched that it depends what you like. Tyrone McKenna, big, tall, awkward. Jack Catterall, skillful, great on the inside. Just depends who imposes their fight.
Okay. Anything else? Anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, just a cheeky little plug. I had Crunk Clothing sent me a couple of t-shirts, so I'd just like to thank them for that.
Okay. Well, Paul, thank you very much for dialing in again. We're going to start wrapping up the show. Any last things you want to say?
No, that's all. Thank you, Woody.
Cool.
No worries, Paul. All the best, mate.
So everyone, thank you very much for dialing in again. Most appreciated. Don't forget to download the show on iTunes, and the shows. Don't forget to follow us on
social media. Make sure you subscribe to all our social media outlets. @Raps on TV on Instagram, @Raps on TV on Twitter. Make sure you have a look at the recent articles that members of the team have been doing. Paul did a cracking article there for Taylor McGoldrick, as we just mentioned. We're looking to, take things to the next level, digital content, bringing on massive stars of the sport onto the platform, and just going from strength to strength for now.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Taylor trying to catch himself, using his jab, eats a